and welcome to Feels Like Magic, the podcast where you will get the grounded self-development wisdom you might need to feel amazing about the person you authentically are. I'm Jo, a transformational coach, speaker, and author, and for decades I was so stuck in self-criticism that I never thought I would feel good about being me. Now I inhabit a new reality, one where I care way less about what other people think. I'm willing to show up as the person that I am, and I deepen into self-love and acceptance every single day. Honestly, it feels like magic. Each week, I'll share scientifically proven tools, things I've learned from the world's best coaches, and personal stories I know you'll relate to. Ready? Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful human, and welcome back to Feels Like Magic. How you doing? There is a lot of intense energy in the world right now. If you're listening live, you're picking up this soon after it came out. I just want you to know that if you're really feeling things and if you're finding yourself like back in old patterns, back in old habits, and you're getting frustrated or mad at yourself, to just take a breath, my love, and to remember that you are a human being on a spinning planet, that the very fact that your feet touch the floor is a miracle. And then ask yourself what you need. What do you need in this moment? What do you need? Do you need a hug? Do you need to just accept reality? Do you need to scream, shake? Do you need to actually go and eat some nutritious food because you haven't for ages because you've just been going and going and going? What do you need? What do you need? Really tune into yourself and what it is that you need in this moment. And that is what today's podcast is all going to be about. It's going to be a short one. And I'm going to be talking about meeting your own needs. And it's such an important thing because when we don't meet our own needs, we rely on other people to meet them for us. And then we become resentful when they don't. So this can be really, really damaging for our relationships, but it also can be really damaging for our sense of self because we layer on a story of like, well, why haven't they met my needs? Because they don't love me enough. And then that can trigger a whole heap of stuff inner child-wise, and it goes on and on. So taking this breath, this moment, this stillness to ground and to ask yourself, what do you need, is potent and powerful. And even right now, I'm like, I think that I could ask myself this question more. I really think I could ask myself this question more. And the thing that often stops us is the perception that we have around it being selfish, but it is not selfish to make sure that our cup is full so we can then give from the overflow. Before we dive into all of this, though, I'm going to take a little pause. I'm going to take a little pause because I have something absolutely phenomenal to tell you about. And for a lot of you, this might not be the time, the place, the thing for you, but there will be some people who are listening to this who this is the thing that you need right now. So I'm going to give it a little space and then we're going to dive right into this topic. So, my love, this April, I'm opening the doors to my incredible group program, Rise, which has changed the life of so many women because we go so deep and we go so deep on all the pieces of life that are not you, the good girl, the pleasing people, the doubting yourself, the comparing, the criticizing, all of that is what we work to heal. And it is such a special and sacred journey that truly is transformative. It's not a mindset course. This is very hands-on and very interactive. I coach you every single week. It is a deep dive into your space, your life, what you want, and why maybe what you want isn't quite here, and how we're going to navigate that gap together. It is such a special journey. And I teach so many incredible things that will equip you for the rest of your life. So, for example, I'll teach you how to process emotion in a really healthy way so that you're not carrying it around all the time. And then you'll have those tools. I teach you how to build a really sustainable relationship with your inner child and your inner teenager. I teach you how to really look at your core beliefs and upgrade your programming so you're not working from a subconscious belief that good things don't happen to you or you don't deserve it. I teach you so many beautiful different things that really truly transform the way that you feel about you. And this is the thing. It is not about anything outside of you. Yes, your external world gets to change as a result of this work, but it is really about being your own best friend, reparenting your inner child, having the relationship where you truly love yourself no matter what, no matter if you fail, no matter if you muck up, no matter if you stumble across your words, no matter. When you can truly have that love for yourself, everything in your life changes because you're no longer looking for other people to fulfill that for you. And you're truly tapped into your purpose and your power and your confidence. If you want to know more, it is an application only program, so you will need to apply. You can also book a free call with me to discuss if it is the right fit for you right now. And my love, if you are ready to leap in, I'm so excited to have you. Okay, so let's go back then to meeting our needs. So, this is such a key piece of your relationship with yourself. And it's been such a journey for me. And there's so much a perception of that it's selfish to meet your own needs, or you're not taking care of other people, or you're not showing up in the world the way that you need. People need you to. But have you ever had a friend who you can see just isn't taking care of themselves? And you just want to go to that friend and just say, oh my goodness, love, like, let me make you a meal. Let me tell you how amazing you are. Let me help you to get some time off, right? It's that. It's being that for yourself. It is being that for yourself. Now, if you are nowhere near being able to be a friend to yourself, I want you to take a really deep breath in. And I want to let you know that that's okay, because you have learned, for whatever reason, to be fiercely critical of you. For whatever reason, maybe multiple reasons, maybe just the whole system of being a woman in the world. You've learned to be critical to yourself, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't want there to be any shame around how you currently treat yourself, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a learned way of being. But when we start to do this work, we get to actually look at, okay, I get that that's a learned way of being, and I'm going to decide to choose something different for myself. I'm really going to decide to choose something different for myself. I'm going to decide this is not how I want to spend my one precious life. And I think so many of us are in that space where it's like, I've even had it this week where I've just realized again how much I've been on my phone, which is really not something I desire. But because I live alone and, I have this beautiful life where I have time, I am looking for something. And quite often that something is connection. And I've been wired to think that my phone's going to give it to me, but you know what? It's not. And I can't even remember what my point was. But essentially that our lives are sacred. Every day is a day that we will never, ever, ever get back. And we can fall into really damaging patterns with ourselves, and patterns really of self-neglect and self-abandonment. And there is a way to get out of them. And this baseline, it seems like it's so, so simple, but for so many of us, like, we don't even know what our needs are. We're not even aware of what our needs are. So it's like, how do we meet them when we've never asked ourselves this question? So I want you to take a little breath. We're really integrating body and mind. If this is activating for you, you can shake out your body. Just notice what's happening in your body. Yeah. And let's just talk how to, first of all, identify your needs. So if you're not used to thinking in this way, like, I'm a human being and have needs, what? Let me talk you through it. We all have basic human needs. There are things that we require to sustain our survival. There are things that we require to thrive. And there are a myriad of things in between. And the survival piece is safety, it's water, it's shelter, it's all of those basic things. But then once we get beyond that, we have connection, we have belonging, we have shared experiences. These are needs. And you can also have needs for respect, integrity, clear communication, honesty, right? We have needs as a human being. Now, where this can become confusing is if, as a child or at any point in your life, you have suppressed your own needs because it didn't feel physically safe to articulate them. So, even if you were in a really loving family, a super, super loving family, this is the big misperception that a lot of people have with inner child work is that it's not only for people who had very, very challenging and chaotic and disturbed childhoods. Like, absolutely, if that is you, it has so much to offer you. But it also, there can be things that are stored in your body and your system from being a child that even if you were very loved, if one day your mom forgot to pick you up on time and you wet yourself or something like that, that can be really, really traumatic for a child and it can be stored in the body. And so it's the same for needs. If you learn not to express your needs and just get on with everything yourself, then you might find this really, really, really hard. And I just want you to know that that's okay. You always, always, with any self-development, but also in life, you get to go at your own pace. And I would challenge you to get on board with the idea that you are a human being who has needs. Because if you have been in any kind of relationship, friendship, romantic relationship with parents, that we all have, right? You will notice how it feels when you want someone else to meet your need and they don't do it. And also then, so many of us go into a story about that, right? So many of us go into a story about what that means about us. And most of the time, it doesn't mean anything about us at all. It just means that person was distracted or they're in their own stuff or they didn't have the capacity for us, right? So I really want you to let this piece land. When we don't meet our own needs, we might think that we're being selfless because we're like self-sacrificing, but actually what we're doing is causing resentment towards the people that we love the most and damaging our relationships. So meeting your own needs is such a huge piece because then it's like the love that other people give you, the appreciation that other people give you, it's all a bonus. When you've really got you really have yourself, then the rest of it is a bonus. And it takes a lot of unlearning because we've been so trained to look outside of ourselves for everything. It takes a lot of unlearning. And so now we have that. We have like an understanding of like, okay, I have needs. I'm a human being. I have needs. I may have learned to suppress my needs. It may be difficult for me to articulate them. Then we get to explore what your needs are. So in any given moment, you just get to ask yourself, okay, what do I need? But the real thing, you're probably going to be able to get to that piece quite quickly. If you really drop in, my body is so tight, I need a massage, or I need a bath, or I need a break. The real piece here is going to be to meet your needs every single time. That is how we rewire and repattern whatever has been going on in terms of not prioritizing yourself, not prioritizing the things that you need so that you can be in the world and show up the way you want to show up, right? So I really want you to think about, okay, if I can recognize my needs, then it's actually my responsibility to meet their needs. It's my responsibility to meet my need for myself instead of looking for somebody else to do it for me. And what I would suggest is just doing this for 7 days, like getting super intentional about, okay, I'm going to meet my own needs for 7 days, right? What if those needs might be something like, I actually just need someone to tell me to go to bed because I'm on my phone scrolling until midnight. Okay, so you get to be that person. You get to enforce that boundary with yourself so that you get the rest that you truly desire. And again, just say to yourself, for the next 7 days, I am going to practice meeting my need for rest by making sure that X time my alarm goes off, I put my phone in a drawer, I go to my bedroom, I read a book, whatever it is. This is really about taking control of what is right for you, what is necessary, and what is needed. Because the thing is, if we don't, we just go back into the same pattern. So empower yourself, because you can absolutely do this. You can absolutely make change. And it does take, I don't even think it's about willpower. I think it's about a willingness to show up. It takes a willingness to show up. It takes a willingness to meet those needs. And it takes a willingness to really be with yourself. Now, for so many of us, again, if you have had a history of self-rejection and self-abandonment where you put yourself at the bottom of the pile, you burn out, you're like last on the list all the time, this is going to feel a little unfamiliar to your nervous system. And so what I want you to do is I want you to just breathe. Okay, I actually have a need here. One of my most vulnerable needs that I've had to articulate often is a need for connection, because I learned at a very early age to take everything inside myself, to not talk about things, and to just get on with it. But actually, I have a deep need for connection. And it's still a work in progress in terms of meeting that need and being vulnerable and asking people if they want to spend time with me. And, that can feel like such a vulnerable thing. And I know that I get to grow and actually have the life I desire when I'm able to meet that need for myself. If I didn't do that, I would be basically waiting for other people to create those opportunities for me. So you're always at somebody else's mercy, which is not an empowering feeling. And it also is not the truth of who we are as souls, as beings on this planet. And the other piece of it is that I wouldn't be experiencing my life in the way that I wanted to. And this can be the same with food. If you have gone into a pattern of just not looking after yourself with food, and so you feel sluggish, you feel drained, you feel like you don't have enough energy, you're bloated, whatever, like, is that how you want to experience this day of your life? Is it how you want to experience the next day of your life? Really asking yourself these questions, my love, to really bed into, what do I choose to experience? Okay, so I'm going to do a little recap as this lands in your system. So we all have basic human needs. We all have needs as human beings, just like a little dog. Like my little dog has needs, right? She needs to go to the toilet. She needs to play. Like, play is a need for her. It is not an optional thing. She needs to exercise. She needs water. She needs love, right? Those are her needs. She needs those things. Now, I could deny them and say, well, actually, she doesn't need love. I just choose to give her love. But that's not the fundamental truth, right? So let that land, because I'd like you to reflect on where you deny yourself your own needs because you're telling a story. And this is the kicker, that you're not worthy of it, that it's just too much bother for you, right? I really want you to let that land, because that can go really, really deep. And then we're hitting on belief work, which is a layer underneath this. And this is what I go so deeply on with clients, is the belief work that's underneath whatever it is you're saying. And the thing is, if you're still like, I'm not really buying into this though, like it still feels like too much to really meet my own needs, what I want you to know is there's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's a pyramid. And at the bottom of the pyramid are all the needs that we have, like food, water, shelter, like all of those things. And at the top of the pyramid is self-actualization. So we actually can't get to the top to really being fully ourselves in the world and shining and challenging ourselves and thriving and being fully who we came here to be, unless we're doing the work underneath. And I think that's so important for you to understand, for all of us to understand, and to really come back to when we find ourselves in this place of doubting, if really taking care of ourselves does matter. Like, it absolutely does, my love. It really, really, really does. And now you have the tools, you know how to do it. You know how to go and really ask yourself what you need. And almost this as well, my speciality and the thing that I love more than anything is inner child work. Inner child work means that we reparent ourselves. And when you are securely meeting your own needs, especially if you didn't get that as a child, right? I really did. Like I got food and water and shelter and all of that, like absolutely nailed to very loving, beautiful parents. But if you didn't, then this piece is going to be even bigger for you because actually learning to meet your own needs and being a consistent force of love for yourself in your life will be really, really game changing. So, my love, you have needs. You get to identify them. Like, do this multiple times a day. Start with a 7-day period to really make it impactful. It's also not too much of a big goal. Set an alarm in your phone if you need to remind you to check in with yourself and really ask yourself, okay, what do I need in this moment? What do I need in this moment? And that might be as simple as I need to take a breath, or it might be something that's a little more complex, but whatever it is, let yourself speak and then meet your need to the best of your ability. Now, what you may ask, my love, because I've worked with beautiful humans for a while now, you may be like, well, I need a break, but I can't take one, right? So I really want you to notice that pattern when it comes up. The like, this is what I need, but I can't have it. And challenge yourself, right? Challenge yourself. So, okay, I notice that I need a break. I can't take that, right? At this present moment, I can't have a break. When can I have a break? Right? And you might be like, well, I could do it in half an hour once I have this thing done. Okay, great. Do you even know how long your break needs to be for? Is it like a minute break to stand up and stretch your body? Do you need longer? So get really, really specific with yourself because it's really easy to tell a story that you can't have what you want. It's less easy to show up to it in a new way and allow it to just maybe look a little different from what you had imagined, right? So good. So this is your challenge. Really defining your needs and meeting them and noticing the resistance because that again gets to be a teacher. And then just notice what starts to happen in your life. Now, a lot of times, like the clients that I work with will get to the point where they're like, I'm doing this for myself because I deserve it. I need this and I deserve it. And they feel so confident in that. And it's so beautiful. But that may not be the case for you on this particular day where this is landing in your body, landing in your system, landing in your ears. You may not feel that you do deserve it. You may not feel completely worthy. And so, my love, you need to go deeper on beliefs. And I just want to put that there. That is not something that I can do right here on this podcast, but there is one on overcoming limiting beliefs you could go back to. And my strong recommendation is if you know that you have really deep beliefs about your worthiness and deservingness, is that you work with a coach or you work with somebody who can help you to navigate the world in a different way. Because I'll just say this in a really basic way. We come into the world pure, we form a set of beliefs about who we are, we then operate from those beliefs subconsciously for years. So for me, I was operating from a set of beliefs for 20 years. Then I come along to self-development and I'm like, I don't have to believe these things about myself. Okay, this is interesting. And then every day gets to be an opportunity to look at how I am subconsciously operating from those beliefs. But I'm not going to probably do that if I don't have support because life gets busy, things happen, and the most impactful thing you can do is to get someone that really helps you to operate from a different place for a certain period of time until it becomes automatic, until it becomes, and of course, in your body, and of course, in your mind, and of course, in your system. So nice to speak to you. All right, my darling, that is all for today. I would love to know how you get on. I would love to know how your 7 days of meeting your own needs goes. Really cheer yourself on and champion yourself. And yeah, the only other thing that I would say is, and this is on the last point that I made, if you really can't meet your need in that specific moment, so say that you really needed to feel your anger, but you were in the middle of a work day and it just wasn't possible, you really want to have a conversation with yourself or just put your hand on your heart and like reassure yourself, I will get to this. I will find time. I do know that this is here and I am going to look at it. But then you need to follow up. You need to do the second part. So we absolutely get that life is lifing. And can we find a way to work with all parts of you so they feel supported, loved, and safe? And that is the foundation for a new way of being, which feels so beautiful. All right, darling. Take care, and I will see you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for being here and being you. If you're ready to dive deeper on your self-development journey, visit joannebell.org, where you can sign up to get even more magic, access incredible bonuses, and find out more about working with me.